Hey guys, I'm back. Devin Talks Tip Top. I am absolutely exhausted. I didn't want to film today, but I needed to film because I need to keep a habit going. And also, I wanted you to know I thought you guys would be so proud of me. This is the third video, and I decided what if this video series actually had a format instead of just me rambling. So I've created a format just for you guys because I love you and I need to get better. So this is me getting better. This video series is the first one, the only playlist I've got right now. It's called Games I Got, which is just me showing you my collection. And the reason why I wanted to do that was because I wanted you to get a sense of who I am as a player. I'm pointing that way, which you don't get any semblance of that, but that's just me pointing through a couple of walls all the way to my office because that's where all my games are. So I'm going to talk about all the games I have, and I have a format. So I'm going to talk about what is it, as in the designers, the artists, the synopsis of the game. I'm going to talk about why I have it, what I like about it, when did I get it, will it leave the collection, would you like it, and then at the end I'm going to do a stupid face for a thumbnail so that I can just do it all in one video and not have to worry about it. Alright, let's see, what have I done already? I've done Black Sonata, and then I did Forbidden Stars, so two very different games. I'm going to try and go in the pattern of jumping from random different game to random different game. I'm not really going to go in order in terms of genre or style or anything like that. Black Sonata was a solo hidden movement game. A lot of fun. Enjoyed that. Want to jump back into that. Forbidden Stars, massive asymmetric, objective-based space game within the Warhammer universe. And then today is going to be In Too Deep, which just recently got this, the Kickstarter edition from Burnt Island Games. So this is Josh Cappel and Daryl Chow. Josh Cappel is actually part of the Burnt Island Games team. I know the three of them pretty well for internet, relations. I haven't got to meet them in person yet because they're in Canada and because of COVID. But Josh Cappel and his wife Helena Cappel, and then Sean Jacquemain, they're the trio behind Burnt Island Games and also Kids Table Board Gaming. So this Kickstarter edition just came in. I got to play it once, the copy with kids planning, and then I've gotten to play it again with my family. I enjoy this a lot. What is it? So I gave you the designers. Art is Dominic Mayer, and then the synopsis of what this is. This is a puzzle. So it's a strategy game. There are group-based risk mitigation or risk-reward systems going on that kind of take place over the course of the game, but you really only know the full effect of them at the end based off of evidence that people have filed. But what it is thematically is you have a group of, not criminals, group of cops, law enforcement officers who are jacking into the brain of, or into the minds of these criminals within this syndicate organization. And you actually control them and use them to commit crimes within the organization, which doesn't make sense necessarily in terms of regular police work, but in terms of undercover police work, you are slowly collecting information on the syndicate while you are actively participating in these crimes through the bodies of the criminals. So you hack into their minds, and then you slowly get more and more attached to them the more you return back to the same criminals, and you can start to use their powers, and you can start to use extra actions with them. And all of that, though, is kind of the outer shell. The inner shell, like the core of this game, is a spatial puzzler. You have a board, which is like 7 or 8 sections that create a circle, and you have story crimes and side crimes, and both of those you're trying to essentially create the requirements or the prerequisites of that area. And so you have, maybe you need 2 criminals in one zone and one of them needs to be holding a specific item. Or you need a criminal next to the sentinel with a blockade on either side and nobody else around. Whatever the requirements are, you need to physically manipulate the items and the people and the board state to meet that. And as soon as you meet that, you're able to complete those crimes, which give you points, which give you evidence against the syndicate, which gives you dilemma cards, which is kind of like, how deep into the criminal organization are you going? Are you going in too deep? And so it's really exciting. This is not going to be a 60-second synopsis like Alex. Speaking of Alex from Board Game Co., who is a good friend of mine, he was an absolute sweetheart and gave me a shout out in his recent news and weekend review. So I super appreciate you, Alex. You are a wonderful person. Let's see. So In Too Deep. That is what it is. Why I have it. I have it specifically because this is actually one of the first games, speaking of Alex once again, and Burnt Island Games, this is one of the first games that is like a content creator or reviewer or just like person who is working within the industry that I actually got to play this live with Josh and with Alex and with Nicole Hoy, I think is her name, who is another content creator in the industry. And so we got to play that live, and I just had an absolute blast. I love this. It's such a satisfying game for me. I think it's my favorite of the Burnt Island games. They do the In the Hall of the Mountain King, more recently Fall of the Mountain King. They also have Endeavor, which I've never played Endeavor, so I can't, compare it to this. But this is probably my favorite that I've personally played. I love the theme, and I love the satisfying puzzle where you're trying to figure out how can I move these people to create this perfect condition to where I can complete this story. So I like it a lot. I have the fancy version with all the wooden stuff because that's the one that I backed because I like the fancy stuff. So that's why I have it. I have a good relationship with Burnt Island Games. I love them a lot. I try to back everything of theirs and of their kid table board gaming. I try to back every project they do just because I really enjoy what they do, and I think they're super sweet people. So that's why I have it. When did I get it? I just got it recently. Just a couple weeks ago. Actually, I think it got here while I was gone for my week in Cleveland and PAX in Philadelphia. So I think that's when I got it. I think it came in while I was gone. So that's when I get it. What do I like about it? I like the spatial puzzling. I love the theme, just the idea of like jacking into these criminals. It feels like, Cyberpunk, 2077. Yeah, that's the number, 2077. But it's just, I like it. I like it a lot. It is satisfying whenever you complete that. It's also, you're uncertain until the end whether you've been too risky or not. Like the most recent game that I played, I won, but it was only one evidence tile or one evidence token away from us completing the investigation of the syndicate. And if that had happened, I would have lost like almost 40 points because I was the one that had the most corruption or the most, who had taken the most corruption from the dilemma cards. So there's that risk reward. I really enjoy that. The spatial puzzling I like a lot, and the production aesthetic from Burnt Island Games. I just really like what they do. A lot of people are very focused on like plastic miniatures and stuff like that in games, and this is just very satisfying. This to me is in the same realm as like Mind Management, where it's just beautiful wooden tokens, really nice package, and I like everything about it. So that's what I like about it. Will it leave? I don't foresee it leaving. There are certain games I have in my collection that I will talk about through this series that do have the potential to leave, just because I try to keep my games down to a certain level. So if for sure some games that I'm going to talk about have the potential to leave. This one, I also have a little bit of a nostalgic pull to it because it's one of those first games that I was attached to. Just like I haven't talked about it yet, but like Set a Watch from Rock Manor Games. That was the first game I ever got as a review game. So I have a little bit of attachment to that, and I have a little bit of experiential attachment to this game too. So I don't think it's going to leave. I could be wrong down a few years down the line, but for right now I see this staying for a long time. And then, would you like it? Well, I don't know who you are, and I guess this question is going to make more sense the longer I do this and the more I interact with the community, the more this one will make sense. I guess I could say, would you like it if there are other games that you enjoy similar in vein? So if you are a fan of Burnt Island Games, if you're a fan of the strategy games that they create, I think you'll like this one. I don't know where it would rank for you amongst those, but I think you'll like this. I think that, I think Alex ranks his, I think he likes Fall of the Mountain King the best. And then maybe In the Hall and In Too Deep. So him and I are flipped around because I like In Too Deep the most. But I think if you like their catalog, I think a lot of the, satisfying numerous mechanics meshing into one kind of like messy, point-heavy, fun experience. I think you'll like that if you like other games from Burnt Island Games. Other experiences similar to this, that's tough. There's a little bit of visual comparisons, like Veiled Fate has a similar board where you're manipulating people around and you're manipulating demigods to different quests that you're doing it, but that's not so much that you have to manipulate them to certain spots to complete the quests. That's the focus of this, is that you're trying to complete them by having them in certain areas. But there's a little bit of kind of having a circular, or not really rondel, but maybe rondel, circular board with different sections. You're trying to manipulate characters around. So if you kind of like that spatial element, then you'd probably like this game. But yeah, I think that's it. Guys, I followed a format which is subject to change if you tell me that it was crappy, but I followed a format. I filmed a video on a day when I'm tired, which I think is a win. And then I may even film a second one. I got another game. I may film a second one and do another video and try to Is it going to be weird though when you see a video on 2 different days and I'm wearing the same shirt? And I'm not going to do I'm not going to do a studio clothes change. I'm not going to do a wardrobe change. If I film that, I'm going to be in these clothes. But I followed a format. I think that's progress made. I also changed the filter. This is like a little iPhone vlogger kit. I changed the filter from blue to green, and I think it's a little less harsh. It doesn't look like, an Audi's headlights coming at me at night. So maybe that's an improvement. You guys can let me know that. But all that's left is just the thumbnail. So we were on the video with our friends last night, and we were talking about movies, and we were talking about the recent Spider-Man movie, which means eventually our conversation went to Spider-Man 3, the original trilogy with Tobey Maguire. So I think thumbnail is going to be Spider-Man finger guns. There we go. Perfect. I've got a thumbnail. I've done everything on the list, guys. I went down the whole thing, and I didn't just do the things that I did. So, video 3, done. I'm going to push this button, and I'm unsure if I'm going to leave this part in the video, but I might, because now I'm narrating it.